Welcome everybody to Part 5 of Boone Lee graduating, leaving Jack Gates in 1967. We getting ready to go into the radio, communication, what I love so much. So coming at you, here's the most exciting part, getting into radio. I was raised up as a little boy wanting to be a disc jockey. I listened to Hotsy Totsy at Kcoh 1590 way back in 1954 when I was going to Blackshear. And I often wanted to be a disc jockey. And then in 1963, when I was going to Miller, they built Kcoh, Looking Glass Studio, and this was my hero. Right there, I'm pointing to Mr. Skipper Lee Frazier. He brought a mountain of soul not only to Houston, but he brought a mountain of soul to me, Boo Lee. And man, I owe a lot for getting in the radio. First time I went into a radio station, it was Eugene Robinson, the player, down there at Kcoh on Preston Street. And the second time I went into a radio station, it was at Kcoh. And a lot of credit goes out to Mr. Paris Healy, because Paris was there when I first started trying to get into radio. And a lot of credit goes out to Baby Dave Felder, because Baby Dave was the first one to let me get behind the board and play a commercial while Rick Roberts would do the broadcasting of TSU games. And I went to Elkins Elkins Broadcasting School, and the original Mr. Harrigan, that Hudson Harrigan at KLT trained me. And then later on, I started going around Kcoh and Bobby Earl and Baby Dave. And over at Kcoh, I would go around Paris Healy and a guy named Johnny B. And finally, Rick Roberts gave me my break. And that's when I started working at Kcoh on Sunday nights only. I wasn't on the payroll, but I was on the air. And me and another young man at the same time was trying to get into radio and got to be a good friend of mine, Don Sam. And me and Don Sam had such a good time by ourselves on Sunday night, and Rick would let us work the station, and Don would come down there and do the news for me, and we would work hand in hand all the way to 6 o'clock till Rick Roberts came in. And I told Don Sam, I say, man, let me show you this thing about Rick. He's gonna be coming in here raising a lot of cane. He's gonna be upset about something I done wrong. And then watch how he gonna get mad and start fussing. Then all of a sudden when he opened that mic, he gonna start smiling and laughing and then Don couldn't believe it. Don Sam couldn't believe it. So he stayed there one day, and one morning Rick came in as usual, late. And Rick Roberts, he the boss, he can do that. And Rick came in, hey man, you didn't play this right, man. Hey man, look here, man. Now look, I'm tired of doing this here, man. You got to follow what I tell you to do. Then all of a sudden he said, wait a minute, don't go nowhere. Then he opened up the mic. Good morning, everybody. This is Rick Roberts. We live, and they got Rutabaker, and then he started talking like Rutabaker. Man, Don Sam it just blew Don Sam's mind. And later on, when Rick hired me, it wasn't no more than maybe about a month, because Don started doing my Sunday night shows. And then later on, Don got in full-time doing all night. But getting into radio and being able to work at Kcoh, it was a big thing. And being able to work against Skipper Lee, that was, because he was my hero. Coming up, Skipper Lee was my hero, man. I cannot tell you at Jack Gates how many people used to listen to Skipper Lee. Hey, Malibu Super Sport. He used to call out the cars, man. So Skipper Lee always was like my idol. And being able to work against him and be able to outdo his rating, and Clifton King B. Smith, oh man, what can I tell you about King B? When I first got into radio good, King B used to call me, hey, Bobby, you're sounding good, man. Keep the good work up. I was raised up with King B. And wasn't but 2 minutes later, or 5 or 10 minutes later, Gigi would call. used to be Dizzy Lizzy. Hey, Bobby, man, send something out to me, man. We out here having a good time out here in Fifth Ward, man. Send something out to old GT. Send something out to your grandma. And, man, that used to it would just send a lot of vibrations in my heart, man. I can't even describe how good it felt to hear them listening to me. For all these years, I've been listening to them. And it was amazing to start working at Kcoh. God did such an amazing job because everything I wanted to do in life, God put it there, and I done it. Even as a little boy, I wanted to own a grocery store. I done it. Even as a little boy, I always used to look at Fairmade bread, rainbow bread. I done it. And even I used to come around on the bread truck and being around Mr. Perry Land, who used to be like a grandfather to me. Mr. Land was working for Oak Farm, and I was pulling a route and ran into him and was getting checked in at the back door at Wine Garden while he was getting checked in. They asked me to get checked in. I said, no, that Oak Farm, Mr. Land, he deserved to be checked in first. And Mr. Land just looked over there and smiled at me, said, thank you, boo, and started counting out his milk. These are things I never forget. Working around the bread company with Uncle Jewel White. Man, it was just like an uncle to me. He was an uncle I never had. He treated me like a nephew. I loved Uncle Jewel. I was raised up with Uncle Jewel selling bread for Cookbook. Being able to not only work against Uncle Jewel, but then it was a jewel just to work with him at Sunbeam. But in the radio, man, it was so much excitement at Kcoh. Oh, man, you know, the young blood was coming in. The older people were going out at Kcoh. When me and Don Sam came in, and Rick hired Don, and me and Don Sam, Ernie G, Michael Harris. Michael came in. Man, that was a pleasure to have Michael to work with Michael Harris. And Michael, I think Michael was there before I got hired, but I was on the radio, but I wasn't on the payroll. See, in radio, sometimes you got to do things that you don't want to do in order to get paid. I mean, you got to come in and do some free labor. And that's what we had to do back during our days getting in the radio. We just didn't come in and jump on the payroll now. That wasn't the way the old cookie crumbled back in the day in AM radio. And it was such excitement time at Kcoh, because we was young. And me and Don Sam, we had a vision. We had a vision that we can beat KILT. We knew we could beat KCOH. It wasn't no problem. But me and Don Sam, we used to bring in our own pop music. That means pop music, we brought in we felt, me and Don used to say together, because we all hung out together, me, him, and Ernie, and Don T. We all hung out together. We all went to the clubs together. Everywhere we went to the clubs, we would run into the politicians that was due on the block. Anthony Hall, Mickey Leland, and also Craig Washington. They were getting into politics. So it was a new generation coming in the 70s. And me and Don Sam and Baby Dave, we wanted to break that color barrier. You know, white people was playing black music. Me, Don Sam, and Baby Dave, we decided to do something different. We decided to play white music. But they were all good, top, hit music. And it paid off because the white stations used to look at us and they thought we were just a bunch of colored people on the radio. But when we got into the 70s, me and Don Sam and Baby Dave, we made radio and the white stations pay attention because we started beating them in the rating in their own game. I got off of radio. I started doing videos. I was doing videos before record companies was doing it. I knew that this was the future. And I was doing videos on Maze, me, and another friend of mine named Arthur Primes. we start doing videos on all the concerts that would come to town, especially with if Roby or Skipper Lee doing the jazz festival. Skipper Lee would let us come in and get permission from the people like Millie Jackson, Frankie Beverly, Quincy Jones, and they would let us videotape them at the Astrodome. And sooner or later, a record company come to me and ask me, hey man, and the people were saying, man, you got a lot of talent. Why don't you come to California and make you some real money? But I look back at it, and I was thinking real serious, but my father, my stepfather, I wasn't ready to leave him by himself. And then I got to thinking that sometime all of that fame, it wasn't worth it. Because people beginning to get jealous. And I could feel it in radio, because every time I went somewhere, somebody said, hey, Boo Lee, you remember me? And I'm trying to think, man, here it is, Doc, I can't remember you. You know, oh man, you act like you don't remember me, man. We went trick-or-treating together when we was in elementary school. Man, how in the hell I'm supposed to remember you? Oh, now you so big, nigga, you done forgot where you come from. Oh, bye, nigga. See, all that old hating stuff. To what? I didn't want no fame. I didn't want to be famous, because I know the price you got to pay for it. You got to lose your freedom. That's right, you lose your freedom, because you don't have no privacy no more. Everybody know you. You can't go nowhere without somebody recognizing you. Man, that stuff get irritable. One thing that I really loved about radio is the record promoters. And a good friend, and watching them move up the ladder, Mr. John Carter, he was like a big brother to me as I was growing up, living in the CUNY home, to watch him grow all the way up to Motown Records, to vice president of Motown Records. And watching other people that, you know, that got into the music industry, watching them promoters, how they went up from local promoter to national promoter. And those were some very, very good days in my life. And I owe a lot of it to God, because he made it all possible. It was through his grace and through his mercy that I lived my dream coming up as a kid. And that's why I'm doing my testimony today on YouTube, documenting it, because things like this is valuable. It gives people hope. And I know I needed hope a lot of times. And I got up and I done it. And I'm so thankful today that I'm 69 years old, 50 years leaving out of Jack Yates High School. I got my good health and strength, and God have really been blessing me. And I'm very blessed to be part of the social media on Facebook, and part of documenting things of Black history on YouTube. And I want to thank all of you, because without y'all, it wouldn't have happened. And I want to share my testimony, because it might help somebody one of these days get to where they can say, hey man, I want to be like Boo Lee. I want to live my dream. Because trust me, if Boo Lee left here today or tomorrow, God been good to me. I did everything I wanted to do and some more. So I just want to let you know we serve an awesome God. Thank you very, very, very much for all of your support on social media. May God bless you and your family. I love all of y'all. God bless you. I'm out of here. Holler at you.